American Horror Story has had a variety of villains, but not all of them have been memorable. Created by Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk, American Horror Story debuted on FX in 2011, with the season retroactively titled Murder House. As an anthology series, every season of American Horror Story covers a different story and horror theme. So far, American Horror Story has covered haunted houses, asylums, covens, freak shows, haunted hotels, historical mysteries, cults, the rise of the Antichrist, haunted summer camps, aliens, different types of vampires, and epidemics. American Horror Story is now preparing for its 13th season, and it's time to look back at the show's greatest villains. Twisty American Horror Story, Freak Show. Freak Show has various villains, of which some will be included on this list, starting with Twisty, John Carroll Lynch. Freak Show focuses on a carnival freak show owned and led by Elsa Mars, Jessica Langer. Parallel to the stories of Elsa and the Freaks is that of Twisty, a disgraced clown who wears a prosthetic mask over his mouth to hide his disfigured face. Twisty kidnapped and terrorized children, whom he believed he was saving from their parents, but he also committed some revenge murders. Twisty didn't understand that what he was doing was wrong, which makes him more terrifying. Twisty is killed by the ghost of Edward Mordrake and returns in Cult as a nightmare. Dandy Mart American Horror Story, Freak Show. Another Freak Show villain that earned a place on this list is Dandy Mart, Finn Wittrock. Mart was a spoiled young man who felt drawn towards Elsa's freaks, particularly conjoined twins Bette and Sarah Paulson, whom he tried to purchase. Mart was mentally unstable, and when he was denied a place among the freaks, he unleashed his violent nature. Dandy's mother hired Twisty to entertain him, and the latter learned from him, beginning his own murder spree. It was Dandy who killed the freaks at Elsa's show, but thankfully, Bette and outsmarted him, poisoned him, and later drowned him. What makes Dandy so terrifying is that he's a realistic character, with no supernatural origin or powers. James Patrick March American Horror Story, Hotel. American Horror Story has had many ghosts since Season 1, and one that showed how ruthless he was even in the afterlife is James Patrick March, Evan Peters. March debuted in American Horror Story, Hotel, which takes place at Hotel Cortez in Los Angeles, home to vampires, ghosts, serial killers, and many other horrors. March built Hotel Cortez in the 1920s, but he was already a serial killer by then. The hotel was built with various secret rooms and hidden hallways so March could continue with his murderous hobby. March was sadistic, and found fun and pleasure in torturing and murdering, and didn't change at all after death. The Countess American Horror Story, Hotel. Also in Hotel, and closely associated with March, is Elizabeth Jones, best known as the Countess, Lady Gaga. The Countess was the first type of vampire in the world of American Horror Story, and she had a permanent home at Hotel Cortez, which she owned as she was married to March. The Countess was seductive, manipulative, and vindictive, and she had children kidnapped to turn them into vampires. For decades, the Countess caused a lot of pain, not just by killing but also by manipulating her lovers. The Countess has a moment of kindness before her death, which makes the latter more satisfying. Fiona Good American Horror Story, Coven. For its third season, American Horror Story took the audience to Miss Robichaux Academy to meet a coven of witches led by the supreme, Fiona Good, Langer. While Fiona had never been the most honest or kindest person, she spiraled at the beginning of Coven when she realized she was aging and later got sick. Fiona realized that a new supreme was rising, and went to extremes to stop that from happening, including killing young witches. Fiona was very powerful, which is why the rest of the witches respected her, but she was also manipulative, selfish, evil, and had psychopathic traits that make her intimidating and scary. Kai Anderson American Horror Story, Cult. Season 7 of American Horror Story, Cult, is often overlooked and considered weak, but it's actually one of the most terrifying seasons due to how real it is. As the title says, this season's horrors come from a cult, led by Kai Anderson Peters, a man driven by trauma, anger, and revenge. Kai was very intelligent and charismatic, and perfectly picked his targets so he could manipulate them into joining his cult and committing different crimes. Kai excelled in psychological horror, as seen in the many ways in which he tormented ally, Paulson. Thanks to this, Kai also made his way into politics, becoming a member of the council. Even after his arrest, Kai continued to move strings to the point where he successfully escaped. Thankfully, Ally was smarter and prepared for his return, killing him, but also taking over as the leader of a new cult. What makes Kai so terrifying is that he's a person anyone could come across at some point. Michael Langdon American Horror Story, Apocalypse. Tate Langdon is one of the most famous American Horror Story villains, but when it comes to the best and most terrifying ones, his son takes the spot. Michael Langdon, Cody Fern, was the son of Tate Langdon and Vivian Harmon, and as the son of a ghost and a human, he was the Antichrist. As such, Langdon's goal was to end humanity by triggering the apocalypse. Langdon started killing when he was a child, and he was later trained as a warlock, which only added to his immense power. Although it seemed like the apocalypse and Langdon's rise were inevitable, the witches found a way to defeat him, but when talking about villains, he's still the most powerful one in the world of American Horror Story. Dr. Arden. American Horror Story, Asylum. American Horror Story, Asylum is widely regarded as the show's best and scariest season, and with good reason, as it has some terrifying villains, one of them Dr. Arden, James Cromwell. Arden was the physician and administrator at Briarcliff Manor, as well as a Nazi war criminal responsible for cruel experiments and many deaths. Arden didn't stop his cruelty and experiments during his time at Briarcliff, subjecting the patients to procedures that went from lobotomies to amputating their limbs and injecting them with experimental substances. Arden was heartless, evil, selfish, never cared about the patients, and had no respect for them and most of his colleagues. Arden died when he entered the crematory with the body of Sister Mary Eunice, whom he had grown to love, and who was possessed by the devil, and turned it on. As his experiments had failed, he had no allies anymore, and Sister Mary Eunice was dead. Arden never paid for his crimes and died as a coward. Delphine LaLaurie. American Horror Story, Coven. One of the cruelest characters in all of American Horror Story, and even more so as she was based on a real person, is Kathy Bates. Delphine LaLaurie in Coven. LaLaurie was a wealthy New Orleans socialite who tortured and murdered black slaves. LaLaurie used the blood and other parts of their bodies to create a beauty balm she claimed kept her young. After torturing the lover of Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau, Angela Bassett, the latter killed LaLaurie's family and buried her alive, though not before making her immortal, to make her suffering eternal. Although she changed for good.